So starting with the first part, which is what are the big trends in terms of mobility of students coming to Canada. It's well known to all of you working in Canadian higher education institutions that the number of students coming to Canada have been increasing in last few years. Of course, the numbers have gone through a change in terms of where the growth is coming from. Earlier, between 2008 to almost 2011, most of the growth was coming either at university level or even trade colleges. So that's where a lot of Indian students were also going. And then, but to put in perspective, Canada as compared to other destinations, let us see some of the key source countries of where international students are coming from in Canada. Now this is a little bit dense slide, so let me break it down. First, let's look into China as the primary source country. Of course, it's a very important source country for not only for Canada, for all destinations. It's the #1 source country. What is interesting to note is how much a particular country is dependent on China. So if you see Australia, actually every third student is coming from China. In contrast, only 16% of students are from China in the UK, 25% in the US, and almost 22% in Canada. So if you compare it with Australia, yes, Canada is doing better in terms of being less dependent on China, but it is not doing as well as UK, which is even further less dependent on China. So that's one area in terms of source country. The other dimension is to look into countries like France and US because of the historical, geographical, and sociocultural reasons. Of course, also a situation where families would be going to make the biggest investment of their life, and hence the expectations are very high. But add to it the complexity of the higher education as a service itself. Higher education is a experiential service. So what it means is that students would not know about what they are actually getting unless they have been onto the campus. So they will be trying to create the expectations from different measures and different sources, directly or indirectly. So for example, they would be getting the impression of what kind of quality they are going to receive by word of mouth, by the branding, by potentially even rankings. So there are multiple sources from which they are trying to make sense of what kind of this risky investment they are making in their life. And that raises the expectation, that raises the stakes which they have in this process. And that in turn brings up the expectations about the difference of what they expected before coming to the campus and what they actually receive once they are on the campus. And then comes the final segment, which is emerging, expanding, growing, and high in demand, and that is explorers. Now, explorers are low in academic preparedness, but high in financial resources. So what they bring on table for the institutions is, of course, ability to pay. And at the same time, at the same time, they have more needs in terms of support expectations, even prior to coming to the country. So for example, these are the prime candidates for using fee-based services back at home in terms of how to apply, how to find university, how to write the great statement of purpose essay. So this is a segment which needs help, and they have the capability to pay for that help. But if they are having those expectations even prior to coming to the country, their expectations, once they are in Canada, are also like that. They would expect help. They would need help in terms of English preparedness, in terms of campus services, in terms of experiential aspects of campus life. So they would not be just satisfied with having to study abroad, but they want to also have a great lived experience, which means for them, being close to a city center is also very important. And if during the recruitment phase, the expectation was set for the student that, or the expectation was not set correctly, that, okay, where the college or institution is located and what it means for your campus life or even life outside campus, that can have a huge difference in